Wednesday the 4th of September 2013, and I'm down in Sussex again, near Brighton, Falmer, as you can see there. Absolutely cracking day. Next to the Amex Stadium over there, Brighton and Hove Albion's home. And I'm about to undertake a 12-mile walk to Glynde station over the downs. As I say, absolutely glorious day today. Hardly a cloud in the sky, mid-70s. Not much wind for the downland area either, so it bodes well. It's around 12 noon. I'm hoping to be done by around 6. So let's get away from all this noise and get cracking. Some of Brighton University's very exclusive looking student accommodation, as most of it is these days. Very different to the Mr. Rigsby stuff we used to put up with. Let's say there's another shot of the Amex. This has got to be one of the closest stadiums to a railway line I've ever seen. Literally on top of it. Very good planning. Doesn't obscure the or interfere with the landscape either when you're actually on the downs. Excellent. A few minutes in, just walking past Brighton, or University of Brighton, as opposed to the University of Sussex. Definitely not a walk for match days, this one. Turning right next to the woodland, and this is the downland scenery that we soon encounter. Freshly ploughed field here. Hidden down in that valley there, you'd never know it, is the tractor that's just ploughed that field. Heading over towards Newmarket Plantation there. Back at the Amex, and what caught my eye was the extensive use of solar panels on the roofs of the student accommodation. Excellent. Particularly on a day like today, they're probably selling their surplus to the national grid. Just reached this junction of paths where we continue straight ahead for a short while. Further views back. Oh, glorious day. Onward journey ahead over there on the left. Across the downs overlooking Kingston upon Lewis and Rodmell ultimately. Left here at this fence post along what looks to be a very little used footpath. Some interesting tents over there. Where are they? Here they are. People still camping. Could be a very damp slog in the winter months if you've got to avoid bushes and go into the field. The path opens up after a short while. Hedges have disappeared, unfortunately, on a cold winter's day, so it's not too bad actually. Problem is the hedgerow's been ripped up from what I can see, and birds like these panting anyway in the heat, so they've got nowhere to shelter. Is that some kind of pipit or lark? Unsure, one I'll have to check out. But yeah, I'd say that's a lark. But as you can see, I would guess judging by these weeds on my left, that the hedgerow's been ripped out, which is pretty bad news because there's a long distance to the next hedgerow, if any. So, South Downs National Park, you need to reinstate a few hedgerows here. Just crossed the busy B2183 behind me, and that is in fact Newmarket Plantation ahead of me there, not the one I mentioned earlier. What a lovely vista this is. There's a police dog unit car behind me with the associated officer and dog coming towards me, just exercising it by the looks of it. Some splendid views here on my left across what is referred to on the map as Loose Bottom. Could be appropriate being near Brighton. Lovely vistas, eh? Put a bit of hawthorn into the equation, as they've done along this field boundary. Makes a whole heap of difference for the birds. Gives them somewhere to hide from the sun, food, home, etc, etc. Pretty easy downland walking thus far. Soft grass underfoot, with the possibilities for a touch of mud at times in the winter, but nothing untoward. Looking back at the Amex from a point next to Newmarket Plantation, which is almost precisely 2 miles into the walk, 42 minutes in, 21-minute mile pace at the moment. Looking back in the direction from whence I've just come, towards that busy B road in the distance. Standing next to Newmarket Copse on my left, and this is the view that you get on the other side. Delightful. Kingston over there, and we're now joining the South Downs Way, which is through that gate there. Looking back at Newmarket Plantation from the edge of Newmarket Hill, just here on my left. What a fantastic view this is. Now the schools are back, it's very pleasantly quiet out here. Haven't passed a soul yet except that policeman. Little wind turbine on my right there. Wonderfully quiet. Then on the other side of the hill, Newmarket Hill now on my right, just about to join Jugs Lane, as mentioned on the map. Wind turbines actually operate in this pressure reducing station. Good use of a turbine. This really is very pleasant. Away from the madding crowd for sure. One of the quieter parts of the Downs, albeit a Wednesday. There's another one of those mysterious birds. One of the male has got a hint of yellow in him. think that's a female. Looking over what is described as cold coombs on the 125 map. On my left as we ascend, around about 180 metres here. Glorious. Newmarket plantation and the Amex beyond. Just about to turn right now with the South Downs Way, leaving the Amex and Falmer scenery behind us, and getting a different perspective, which includes Lewis over there. And then we follow the South Downs Way pretty much along this ridge line for 7 miles to the radio masts of Bedingham Hill over there in the distance. Not sure if you can see them. There they go. Very misty over there at the moment, or heat haze actually. One of the dew ponds referred to on the map, which is clearly bone dry at the moment. Precisely 3 miles in here. Been walking for an hour and 10. It's around 1:30. So it's only time for lunch. Another example of a dew pond. Again, bone dry at the moment. Got views on both sides at this point. There's the windmill down at Kingston. Lewis in the background. And the river plain. And on my right, passing the junction on the Lewis Circular via Rodmell. So the section of the downs that I've just walked is new to me. Hereafter isn't though. Not sure if it's clear, but you've got the sea in the distance over there, shimmering in the sun. Looking across the Ouse Valley to firstly Mount Caburn, then Firle Beacon. Fantastic. Further wonderful views of Mount Caburn, Firle Beacon. Pretty blowy up here again as usual. Pleasantly so though today. Okay, 5 to 2, just over 4 miles in, a third of the walk down. Been walking around about an hour and a half. And I think I'll take my lunch here now, just before we branch away from these views to follow the descending concrete track through arable fields. Walking down the concrete track with Cuckmere Haven in the distance there beyond Seaford. Grass is too wet to sit on for lunch. These bales of straw here seem to be a permanent feature because they were here last time I did this walk, or some of this walk, and they provide an equally good view. It's amazing how quickly they get the harvest in. A couple of weeks ago the corn was here, now it's gone, bales and everything. Be ploughed in before you know what's going on. They're approaching what is known as Mill Hill over there, that copse. That is in the Western Hemisphere, I believe, and I'm stood in the Eastern, or vice versa. We'll find out in a second. Down in that dip. Descending a bit now as we approach Rodmell, down there in the valley, which provides an alternative drop-off for those needing refreshment. So as I was saying, I was stood in the Western Hemisphere, Mill Hill's in the Eastern Hemisphere. Smack bang on the meridian line here. Interesting place to remind us about that, really. Next to this dung heap. Views back to where I've just come from. And the surrounding scenery. The old Jack and Jill windmill over there in the distance. Kingston. Lewis. Mount Caban. And agricultural fields on my left, this being at Mill Hill. So as I mentioned, you've got the alternative route down to Rodmell for those that need refreshment. For the rest of us, continue on along the South Downs Way again towards the farm in the valley down below. There's an interesting memorial that I missed last time. Derek Baker, woodcrafter, and that's just outside the fence at Mill Hill, the property called Mill Hill. An interesting place to be buried. I wonder if it's because previously he owned Mill Hill or lived there. So, having dealt with the corn, farmers are now on to the rape, which sounds like a much noisier crop to cut. Incredible how they do it though. How you use a combine to cut rape and broad beans beats me. Well, I got that wrong. It's wheat. That brings back memories for me. The wheat was a good height, so I'm wondering if this farm is organic. Certainly wasn't the knee-height wheat that you get in non-organic areas. Got a field of barley this year, which clearly was previously oats. Still some remnants of oats in it. It's quite late in the year, considering everybody else is almost finished. So, as I say, that's what makes me wonder if it's organic or just because it's down in the valley it's sheltered. So that was the interestingly named Cricketing Bottom. Now about to cross another busy B road to continue our journey towards Southease. Lovely sights, eh? Very rustic and autumnal. Although the weather isn't, thankfully. The rather interesting church at Southease, over 1,000 years old, clearly by the tower there. The church is open. Might have a little nose in there, cool off a bit. A well-weathered memorial there on the wall. Quite amazing inside. Very cool. That's in temperature. Interesting what they revealed there under the plaster. And from the other end, can't remember what you call this end, pulpit. Information here about the charter of King Edgar giving the Church of Southease to the Abbey of Hyde in the year 966. Another downland doggies drinking water tap. And that's where we're headed in a minute. Bedingham Hill. Or is it Itford? Can't remember off the top of my head. Either ways, we're up there. Yeah, it's actually Itford that I'm approaching, with Mount Caban over there on my left. Over the old Southease bridge. Here is a shot of it with the River Ouse flying out very rapidly, ultimately into Cuckmere Haven. Passing the remote station of Southease. Train every 2 hours, I believe. So, since I was last here, this new youth hostel at Southease has opened up. Very well positioned. It's next to the main road there on the other side. Usefully though, there's something here called the Courtyard Cafe, which is open every day, and I'll get the opening times in a second. There you go, 10 to 4. Yeah, as I say, I think it opened up in June, certainly, yeah, very recently. Got something in it called the Pod Village. Bent of Itford Hill, and looking back to Lewis up the Ouse Valley, and along this morning's ridge climb, ridge walk. Looking over to Seaford and the neighbouring downland. Can't go too far right because of the sun. Further glorious views from our ascent up Itford Hill as a train pulls into Southease there. Or is it going? No, it's going straight through, like many do. Okay, looking over towards Cuckmere from the top of Itford Hill, about 150 metres here. And back round to Seaford, which is as far as I can go because of the sun. Can't film against that. Onward journey up towards that radio mast. Not a soul up here, just me, the sheep and the cows, and a few birds. Fantastic. Over towards Lewis and the surrounding scenery, Itford Hill over there. Cheers. From a point near Red Lion Pond on the map. The 164 metre spot height next to Red Lion Pond. Once again doesn't have any dew water in it. Over there in the distance is Glynde, our final destination. It's got that wind turbine nearby. About 3 miles away now. Classic river meanders there, and I made a mistake earlier. The Ouse doesn't end up in Cuckmere, goes out to sea at Seaford, clearly. This morning's ridge walk and Ouse Valley from another angle. What a wonderful picture that is. Mount Caban and Glynde just over there in the right of the picture. Approaching Itford radio station, where we take a sharp left in a second. And in fact I've been making another mistake, because that town over there on my right that I've been calling Seaford is in fact Newhaven, I believe. Okay, here we are, me and the sheep. Been walking exactly 10 miles now, so approximately 2 to go. It's taken 3 3/4 hours to get here, and I'm averaging 21 minutes a mile, so around 3 miles an hour. It is around 4:30, so good timekeeping. Not sure what's attracting these sheep to this particular point, but there's certainly something there. Maybe that's where they get picked up to go home. Okay, round about 177 metres at this point. What a wonderful view we've got as we descend down this tarmac track, what's left of it, all the way into Glynde now. What a wonderful bowl-shaped valley we got here. Looking back at the ridge in the far distance there, this morning's walk. Can't go any closer because of the sun again. Very hazy out there now, but glorious scenery as we look at Glynde ahead of us there in the distance. Wonderful. No jet noise today, and very few people. Back into that U-shaped valley. Planning notice there telling us there's going to be 3 more dishes on that Bedingham radio mast, which is used by the police by the looks of it. Vigilant Global Limited, Sussex Police mast. Entering the village of Glynde with the impressive Mount Caban on the left here. The well located River Ouse for an end of walk comparison of notes, or to deal with an extended wait if you just miss the train. There are plenty of seats and it is literally right smack next to the station. My train turns up in about 6 minutes, so good timing from my point of view. Okay, here I am back at Glynde, and that was a wonderful walk. 11.98 miles per my recorder, 4 hours 26 minutes, 22 minutes a mile, and that's with me recording and taking photos as well, so not bad going. As I say, a delightful walk, good underfoot, some fantastic views, particularly on a day like today, but that walk would be great at any time of the year, and could be one to do after heavy rain because there's no really muddy bits on it. Anyway, Falmer to Glynde completed.